Switch 2 is finally getting the kind of RPGs Nintendo fans have begged for years. Some of them are stunning, some of them are hiding a catch, and I'm gonna point it out. Remember how the first Trails in the Sky remake quietly became Falcom's biggest Steam launch ever? They clearly took the hint, because instead of making us wait years the way the original did 2 decades ago, they turned the sequel around fast. Second Chapter remakes Trails in the Sky SC, the entry fans themselves point to as the best payoff in the whole series. It picks up right on the cliff the first game left you dangling from. Estelle sets off across the Kingdom of Liberl to find the vanished Joshua and figure out what the shadowy Ouroboros is really planning. Combat is still that hybrid system with the tactical field and the orbment setup, now rebuilt in full 3D. One honest warning though, do not start the series here. The story leans hard on the first game and gives newcomers no ramp at all. And it's still a very wordy JRPG, the kind where you sometimes read more than you play. This one is more interesting than a late port has any right to be. Dragon's Dogma 2 is hitting a Nintendo console for the first time in the series' history, and not as a bare 2-year-old port either. It shows up as the Dark Arisen edition with a new icy region called Norgan, fresh character creator options, and the return of the Relic Expedition cycle from the first game. Capcom even pushed a couple of big patches into the base game beforehand, like they were prepping the ground. But let's be real, the story here isn't the content, it's whether Switch 2 can actually chew through that crowd simulation and the swarm of pawns. The original choked in towns even on strong PCs, so squeezing it into a stable picture on a handheld is a tall order. $50 gets you everything at once, and owners on other platforms can grab the expansion on its own.
Over here, Master! I can help you up!
All is at hand. I can feel it.
Every step of the journey unfolds in stunning HD.
Square Enix finally did the thing people had been asking for over years. They poured a Final Fantasy into the HD 2D style that Octopath and Triangle strategy made famous. Resonance is a turn-based RPG built on the first season of the mobile game Brave Exvius. And here's where it gets interesting. It isn't a port or a remake, it's a full teardown and rebuild. The gacha, the energy timers, the random character pulls are all gone, and instead of menu nodes, you get a real, explorable world map. The launch date isn't random either. It lands on the same day Brave Exvius went live in Japan, a little nod to the old crowd. What gives me pause is the price. The collector's edition runs over $200, and whether a reworked mobile story is worth full money is something you'll have to weigh for yourself. For me, the HD 2D look suits it far better than the loud gacha original ever did.
Pixelate starts here.
Dare you to keep up with my blade!
Metaphor. ReFantazio is one of those cases where the game is rock solid and the only real questions are about the Nintendo version. It's a fantasy JRPG from Studio Zero, the Persona team, and back in 2024 it took 3 awards at the Game Awards and sold 1 million copies on day 1, so the game itself is not in doubt. On Switch 2 though, this is a straight port with no exclusive content. 2 things are worth flagging. First, the physical release is on a keycard, not a full cartridge, which stings if you actually collect the things. Second, Atlas has a spotty record on Switch 2. The Persona 3 remake launched with shaky frame rates, though Metaphor looks noticeably steadier in its trailer. The upside is real too. They're selling it below the original's launch price, which makes it a great way in if you've never touched an Atlas game.
Lot in his life. One I wish I'd rooted out sooner. You're no ray of hope. Tribal harmony mean nothing when every day they cheat and abuse us.
Существовала земля под названием Хайрул, созданная существами высшего божества.
This is the one that still gives me goosebumps. What sat as a rumor for years is finally official. Ocarina of Time is coming back, rebuilt from the ground up and, by the looks of it, exclusive to Switch 2. Nintendo showed maybe a few seconds of an opening cutscene, but even in that sliver you can see light catching in Link's hair, which is a different planet from the Nintendo 64 original. It's time to the series' 40th anniversary. Still, let's not get carried away. They showed almost nothing. No gameplay, no firm date, and the line about keeping the timeless feel suggests they're not out to reinvent the classic. It's also an action-adventure at heart, not a pure RPG. But if anyone on Earth can handle a legend this carefully, it's Nintendo. The only question is when they'll actually show us something with meat on it.
Было.
Okay, this one's a bit of a cheat on my part because it isn't on Switch 2 yet, and honestly, might not be for a while. But I couldn't leave it off because I've been waiting for this game longer than almost anything else on this list. The backstory alone is wild. Over a decade in development as a blocky sandbox with a real RPG streak. Then Riot pulled the plug in 2025 and shut the studio down, and everyone assumed that was the end. Then the founder bought the whole thing back and dragged it out of the grave into early access. A game that survives its own death and comes back swinging is exactly the kind of underdog I want to see win. A couple of years ago, the idea of Valheim running on a Nintendo machine was basically a punchline. The original Switch would have died just rendering the lighting in the Black Forest. Now, the brutal Viking survival game is officially sailing to Switch 2, and this is its proper full launch, not some rough early build. The port is being handled by Pictive, the same crew behind the Xbox version, so the foundation is in decent hands. Up to 10 people can share a world, and it supports crossplay with every other platform, mouse controls, touch menus, and gyro aiming. I'll be straight with you, this is survival with progression, not an RPG, so it's a bit of a stretch for this list. The real risk is stability. If it starts chugging on packed servers or in the late game, the whole portable dream falls apart. Still, 12 million copies sold suggests the wait was worth it. Katanaut is one to root for. A solo developer spent over 3 years on it and then managed to release his Metroidvania roguelike right between Silksong and Hades 2. By his own account, he had no idea either giant was dropping that week, and the game predictably got buried. Which is a shame, because it's a sharp, gory thing where you play a sci-fi samurai on a space station overrun by some demonic rot, carving through procedural levels with 0 checkpoints, every death sending you back to the start. Nice bonus, it's published by the Revived Acclaim brand, and it's basically their calling card. 2 caveats are mandatory though. It's not an RPG, it's a roguelike with a Souls-like streak, so genre fatigue is a real thing. And there's still no firm Switch 2 date, just a promise of some time this year. How a pixel horror show sits on the console, we'll find out closer to launch. Nested Lands hooks you with its setting, a survival RPG in a grim medieval world at the height of the Black Death, where you start with nothing and have to build a working village while plague tears through, bandits roam, and winter closes in. The world remembers your choices and reacts to them, and you're not just watching Food and Medicine, but the hero's sanity, and yes, his basic hygiene. You can grind through it solo or pull friends in over online co-op. One detail worth knowing, it's published by Meta Publishing, a label under Owlcat, the studio behind Pathfinder and Rogue Trader, which buys the RPG side a bit more trust. Keep your feet on the ground though. On PC it's still in early access. The console versions are only promised for the full release, and there's no firm Switch 2 date yet. And frankly, so many survival games are landing on Switch 2 right now that standing out won't be easy.
But the plague cuts deeper than swords.
Let's close on something properly strange. Voidling Bound is a sci-fi third-person action game that players keep describing as Spore crossed with Warframe. You play a space wrangler taking direct control of creatures called Voidlings, evolving them down branching paths, breeding them, splicing genes, and shaping your own monsters around how you like to fight. It's made by Hatchery Games out of Quebec, a team that used to work on Skylanders, so these people know a thing or two about taming creatures. It's already out on PC, and Switch 2 is officially confirmed but with no set date, just a window this year. Honest caveats, it's single player only, so anyone dreaming of co-op is out of luck, and whether that ambitious evolution system holds your attention over the long haul is a real question.